Hey, what's going on, guys? Well, it's been a long time since I got this particular knife, and I'm finally doing a review on it. I used it, I stashed it away, I forgot about it for a couple months, I found it, I used it again, put it away, I forgot about it for a couple months, and the last week or so I had it on my desk to make sure that I would play with it again, use it again, and give you a good review on it. So that's what we're doing. I'm showing you today a Tekut, Tekut, I'm going to call it Tekut. That's why. Well, you didn't ask why, but anyway. Interesting knife. This is a $15 knife, and right from the beginning of the video, I would tell you it's very cool as a novelty. It's a gentleman's knife. It's not a hard to use knife, and I did develop some blade play because I did use it hard, as I do all the knives I'm going to review. And I had some issues with that, but we're going to talk about it right now. But I'm going to show you the packaging, because the packaging is actually kind of cool. You get this neat little tin. It's always nice when you get a tin as opposed to a little cardboard box or something. You can reuse these tins for anything. But there you go. There's the particular model. And let's open it up, take a look at it. Alright, so in here we have some paperwork, which has our specs on it, which I'll just show you right off the bat. And a nice little leather pouch for it. So here's what the knife looks like. Well, let me take it out of the pouch to show you. I want to talk about it. Here it is. This is the Pecker. Or actually, in this case, this is the mini Pecker. So here's a knife. Open. Very interesting. Certainly something different. Not much of a handle. It's got that very, loud, I would call it a loud coloration with the rainbow anodized layer there. Interesting, very cool. Now, if the rainbow thing is not your particular thing, they do make two different colors. They make a beautiful sapphire blue, which just does not do it justice to see in person. It's just like the blue that's in the rainbow, only it's solid blue. It's a really bright, vibrant blue, though. And then they also make a black titanium, which is basically a grayish black. Okay, also extremely glossy. So here's the knife. Here's the specs. 7CR17 MOV. Their patented lock system. Overall length 158 millimeters. Close length 96 millimeters. Obviously these are international knives. That's why we don't have inches on here. Some maintenance information shows you how to open and close. Right off the bat, I can also tell you that this is not a one-hand opening knife. That might kill it for some of you. But again, this is a gentleman's knife. It's not something you whip out for tactical purposes or to impress your friends, unless you really want to impress them with some class and style. Certainly different. Very Art Deco to me. Modern, artsy-fartsy type stuff. Certainly nothing classic about this. Interesting lock system, though. Very interesting. First off, let me talk about the functionality of the knife. It worked. It came nice and sharp. The blade steel was just okay. It's got a nice acute point on here, extremely pointy. Great for penetration. Very narrow, long, slim blade. Also fairly thin. So it was a decent slicer. I did have to sharpen it twice since using this. And it also created some up and down blade play, which you can hear. Alright, that's because I used this knife. I didn't baby it around. I didn't use it just to open a letter or two. I used this knife. And with use, it did not really hold up. Blade play cannot be taken out. You can but you can remove the stop pin behind here. And what I tried doing is there's like a collar around the pin, and I tried loosening the screw and pushing the collar up towards the tang of the blade and then retightening it. Now that does temporarily take out the play, but after you use it, basically with use, it pushes that collar back over. So there's nothing you can really do about that. So you will get a little blade play if you decide to use these things pretty rough. As far as ergonomics, it's really, initially it doesn't feel that bad, but because you have a super high gloss finish on this, it is ridiculously slick and smooth. Okay, good for cutting stuff, shears right through things. Material doesn't want to grab on that steel. However, for the handle, same deal. It's very slick, and there's really not much handle to be grabbing to begin with. So, big hit on ergos. You just can't grip down hard to do anything. Most of my work was in a pinch grip like this, around that larger pivot. It's basically most of the knife is right here. So that's how I held it. It was like this, all right? Or put my finger up like that, and I cut that way. So it's an inconvenience that this does not, you know, stay very stable in the hand. Now, I did try reverse grip for some stabbing and stuff. That's actually not that bad, believe it or not, because you have basically one huge 4-finger choil, a massive opening in here. It allows your hand to come in pretty snug, and it doesn't want to ride up when you're stabbing into things because of that design. But overall, it's not a good user knife, period. Gentleman's knife, light use, interesting, conversation piece, artsy, classy for some people. That's why you'd want to get this knife, all right? Leather opener, a very fun, cool leather opener. If you have a nice outfit on and you have this in the sheath, which is beautiful, before I get to that, let me close this and show you how this mechanism works. You have a large knurled button here, okay? Basically, this button pushes up. It goes obviously through the frame, through the blade and everything, and pushes up on this spring. So you see that the spring starts here, okay? Runs the length of our handle, okay? Makes a little bit of a turn there, and then stops here. So basically, that's how you're getting your spring tension. That's why this is always pushed forward and locked. Well, should be locked, obviously, with blade plate from use. But very interesting, you push this up, there's a hole in the blade which is just wide enough to accept that pin on the other side. So obviously as it rotates open, it locks through the hole, okay, and does not allow it to move. Same thing when it's closed. With an open frame design like this, there's only one handle scale, and it's barely a scale at that. So safety is number one. This design like this would have to lock closed, and they did that right. It does lock closed. So you're not gonna cut yourself, even though you have an exposed blade here. You have to really work at putting your finger in between the spring and that edge. So loose in the pocket, wouldn't recommend, because you still could get in there and cut yourself, but you know, unlikely. In regular handling, it's not going to cut you. All right, so a pretty safe design. There's a lanyard hole in the bottom. If you chose to put something small in here, you certainly could. Really interesting. The entire thing, including the hardware, is anodized titanium. It's a thin layer titanium over our steel, so that they can get that coloration that they wanted. Will not rust because of that. The only exposed metal on this entire knife is our very edge, our bevel. All right, so no rust issues whatsoever. They did everything, every nook and cranny, the hardware on the inside of the frame. So very good as far as that's concerned. Opening and closing, once again, it's a two-hand process because you want to naturally grip like this and push this, okay, and it will unlock the blade. But because you're holding it down, how do you get the blade? You know, it's just an awkward thing to try to open. I find myself, because it's slick and smooth, it's slippery. It's slippery, it's hard to open. I don't like that. I have to kind of brace the frame against my hand, push that down without blocking the other side with the top of my finger like this, right? So you have to finagle it a little bit and practice opening and closing it. But it's definitely a two-hand job. Yes, a two-hand job for the little Pecker. You heard it right. So, moving on. Yeah, it's not user-friendly, but it's still certainly cool. And like I said, having this knife in this very nice little, it's like a vinyl type material with a felt liner, but really classy looking. Quite cool. Little belt loop on the back. If you're wearing a nice little suit or something, well, of course, if you're a knife guy and you're wearing a knife, or excuse me, if you're a knife guy and you're wearing a nice suit, you probably have a really cool knife to go along with that. But just in case you don't, let's say you're getting dressed up for an occasion, this peeking off the side of your belt like so, you know, you got to cut a string off a shirt or open something, some light duty cutting. You pop this open, it can definitely turn some heads. It's pretty classy, it's cool. To a non-knife person, it is awesome. To a knife person, just cool. Because we recognize the downfalls to this type of knife. But anyway, overall, very cool. For 15 bucks, pretty gimmicky, not super functional, but definitely different. I don't want to say it's a piece of crap, because it's not a piece of crap. It's just, it fits a very specific need to show off and not spend a lot of money. But it fits that need very nicely. And like I said, for non-knife people, probably be really cool, and they'll really enjoy that. Definitely non-threatening. It does not look like a very threatening knife. So people-friendly and sheeple-friendly. So that's it. That's the Tekut rainbow anodized mini Pecker. So if you don't already have a mini Pecker, then you should probably get this one.
Do you have the little Pecker? Well, you really are on the cutting edge.
Yeah.
What the fuck do kayaks have to do with knives? You fucking asshole. Kayaks you're asking me about when I'm asking you about knives? How about you get some kayaks and stick them up your fucking ass, you moron.
I'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you soon.